Are the human resources business partners in your organization effective consultants? Because the Human Capital Institute recently shared that employers are twice as likely to go outside of the organization to fill these HRBP roles because they can't find critical skills such as business acumen and consulting skills within the current HR team. So in this week's video, I'm going to share with you critical mindsets and approaches to be an effective HRBP consultant. There are 4 mindsets that I'll share with you first. And the first of those 4 is to view yourself as an equal partner to your internal client. As a human resources business partner, not to view yourself as a doer, to go into a client meeting and say, what do you need, and do that, but to view yourself as an equal at the table so you can be a consultant and a strategist, but also not to come into that meeting thinking you know better than the client, but really view yourself as an equal partner. Number 2 is to view your internal client as a paying client. And in some cases that might be true. There might be departments that are paying the HR department internally for your services. But regardless, view them as a paying client and understand that you're bringing your expertise to the table to support their business success as well as your own department's business success. Number 3 is to make sure that you're being that strategic partner. And I'll talk more about this in the next section of the video, but to ensure you're helping them make the best decisions and take the best action for their business. Number 4 is to understand your role in building trust in your relationships with your clients. And I actually created a video about how leaders build trust, and I will link to that on my YouTube channel, but really understand the value of the relationship from both perspectives. Now I'll share several ways to ensure that you're approaching your internal clients in a consultative way. And if you have any questions about this, certainly feel free to leave them below this video and I'll respond to them. But the first one is to make sure that you're doing the research and anticipating your clients' questions before you meet with them. Certainly they may approach you and say, hey, I need to meet with you about this particular need. But sometimes you might proactively suggest meeting with them as well. But always do your research on the topic. What data is available to inform the decisions? What questions do you think your client might ask of you, and what would your prepared answers be? So to make sure you're doing your research and anticipating those questions. Number 2 is to really ensure that you understand and empathize with the audience that you're talking about with your client. Are they prospective employees? Are they a group of current employees? Really understand that audience, empathize with them. What are their needs? What are their current perceptions? And make sure that you're doing some work around that audience analysis. Number 3 is to make sure that you're asking those critical, strategic, open-ended questions of your client. Even if they approach you and they say, this is what I need and this is what I need you to do. Back up the conversation and make sure you're asking those big picture questions. What is the problem you're trying to solve? What is the audience's current perceptions? What brought this need about? What data do you have available right now that's informing them? What does success look like? And my suggestion is to create a template of open-ended questions that you bring to that first kickoff meeting with your clients. And you always have that as a starting point. But this is such a critical factor to be a good strategic consultative partner for your client. Number 4 is to actively listen to your client. And this might sound really obvious, but I think most of us could really work on this, is to be in the moment and actually listen to them so that they feel heard. And you may make a suggestion that's contrary to what they were suggesting, and they really need to feel understood and heard before you can provide that suggestion. And this is also a critical way to build that trusting relationship as well. And number 5 is certainly to share your subject matter expertise. What examples, data, insights, stories do you have that can inform the decision making and the strategies? And the last suggestion is really to have strong project management skills throughout the entire initiative. managing who's doing what by when. And my suggestion is to create a template of an action plan that includes what are the goals? Who is the audience? What are their current needs and perceptions? What are the strategies and tactics and success measures? What are the resources that are needed? And create a template that you can use for every project and fill it in for every project, and provide status reports on a weekly basis for your clients so they know what's going on. Maybe you need to set up weekly meetings, but really use strong project management skills to be effective, but also to keep building that trust. I'm Morgan Quist, and I'm your Thrival Guide. I partner with people to shift from surviving to thriving in their careers. Most often, I work with leaders in organizations to help them increase their self-awareness and become more effective coaches and communicators in the organization. And in this week's video, we talked about how to help those HR business partners thrive. So if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below this video. Or if you have any questions that you want to message me directly, feel free to do that as well. I look forward to seeing you next time, and I encourage you to subscribe to my YouTube channel or follow my LinkedIn company page for weekly roadmaps on how to thrive.